Hello everyone, I'm Yubo Wang. Our team selected Aquana as the analyze object. First, I will introduce the background of the company and its CEO. Next, Xiaoyu Tan will analyze the ethical dilemma faced by the company. After that, Jianhe Xu will analyze what is the influence about organization and how to deal with it. Chen Yujiang will explain how leadership style solves ethical dilemma. Finally, Yihui Zhang will summarize all the analysis and explain the findings of our team, and put forward suggestions for the company on how to improve leadership and management standards in the event of similar ethical dilemmas in the future. Now I will introduce the background of Aquana and its CEO. Aquana is an integrated energy company. It was formed in 2007 by the merger of State Oil and the Oil and Gas Department of Norsk Hydro, and changed its name from State Oil ASA to Aquana in 2018. There is no word oil in the new name, but equality is used, which means equal, equality, and equilibrium. The company is mainly engaged in oil and gas exploration and production activities, and its main activity area is located on the NCS. The crude oil, natural gas, and refined products extracted and produced in the region will be sold to most parts of the world. Aquana has a strong market position. It is one of the largest net sellers of crude oil in the world. Strong market position can ensure the stable growth of the company's revenue. The company's reserve base is also high. However, Aquana also faced many threats in recent years. For example, Aquana's operation is easily affected by natural factors. There is also great risk in the exploitation and storage of crude oil, which may lead to leakage and explosion. The CEO of Aquana is Anders Opedal. He joined the company in 1997 and served as CEO in August 2020. Before joining, he worked for Schlumberger and Big Shoes. When he served as CEO, he put forward many ambitious goals. For example, he plans to make Aquana a leading company in energy transformation. He also plans to make Aquana achieve net zero emissions by 2050. So now I'd like to hand over to Xiaoyu Tan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Tan Xiaoyu. The part I will present is ethical dilemma and the reason why it's developed. In the case, Aquana has the ethical dilemma in that the leader often need to support the country's economy policies to generate revenue from oil and gas extraction. But the leader organization of such an economic activity would have contributed to the growing global environment crisis. But to the more profit, Aquana's leader must organize his employees' involvement in carbon dioxide emission, which contradicts to the moral obligation to protect and preserve the climate. On a deeper level, the moral dilemma shifts from a leader's choices between exploiting oil for profit and reducing carbon dioxide pollution to leader choices between a strong national economy and the protection of the world's environment. As Aquana is a state-owned company, Norway has, as an oil-producing country, has a moral obligation to use its oil resource to provide finance income to society. and provides resource to another country. In addition to this, the revenue generated from Norway's oil and gas exports is very important for financing the country. The Norwegian public, as a stakeholder, believe that climate change has nothing to do with human activity, and that science and technology are essential for improving climate change. The data on Norway's GDP per capita in Figure 1 show that Norway is a high economy situation per capita, and that people do not care about the climate issues. Norway has therefore enacted environmental protection to a certain extent because there are more stakeholders at the national economy level. On the other hand, for ethical reasons, the leader should lead the organization to reduce carbon dioxide emission by not extracting and use fossil fuels emission, because oil and gas activity are often closely linked to international security issue. At the same time, the issue of emission can cause international ecological damage. The ethical dilemma arises from the fact that Norway has a clean hydropower and invests in clean technology, but Equinor's export mission has increased. With clean energy alternative, this is increasing use of clean and renewable energy resource throughout Europe and the rest of the world. This means that Equinor generates less revenue from exporting oil. This is also more international political cooperation and agreement, such as Paris Agreement and the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, which attempt to address global climate issues. This is proposal all the potential to reduce Equinor's business activity and put downward economic pressures on the Equinor's profitable. The above is my presentation, and the next speaker is Jianhe Xu. Thank you.
Thanks for your handover, Xiaoyu. My name is Jianhe Xu. I will discuss about what they already did in ethical dilemma, or we can say how they deal with it. There are 3 actions: established an oil fund, building a brand as an environmentally conscious energy nation, develop new energy market and technologies. Then we will discuss this more deeper. The first is established an oil fund. This fund is an instrument for ensuring that a reasonable portion of the country's petroleum wealth benefits future generations. And this fund has a high ethical standard, which means that this fund will not invest high pollution companies. But let's say something straight. This is for Norwegian's economic quality. For this company own, it help nothing to environment. The second action is building a brand as an environmentally conscious energy nation. Whatever Norway government or Equinor, they all want to be perceived as a proactive protector of environment, which means that they want to find balance between fossil energy and environment. Equinor Star has operation and investigation with more than 30 countries companies. This action makes sure that when Equinor production falls on the Norwegian's continental shelf, this still can be successful internationally. But when we deeply consider about this action. Equinor chose to invest foreign oil business. It has to be denied that it can reduce pollution of Norway because they transfer the pollution from Norway to other countries. But for the world, the question is that is it really decrease the pollution? Is it really environmental friendly? The answer may not be satisfactory. The third action is developing a new market and technologies. Equinor had 2022 Energy Transition Plan. This plan includes reducing emissions from production of oil and gas, accelerating investments in renewables, and building out low carbon situations. From economic sector, it can make Equinor change the original simple profit model to diversified profit model. From environmental protection sector, it can reducing emissions, but to be honest, Equinor will face a huge fund pressure until development complete. Next, I will hand over to Chengyu. She will discuss about how leadership styles can solve ethical dilemmas. Thank you.
My name is Chen Jiang. Let me start with situational theory. Situational theory have two different dimensions: directive behaviors and supportive behaviors. It contains four leadership styles and different development level of followers. My part is focused on how leadership styles can solve ethical dilemmas. Leadership style is divided into directive behaviors and supportive behaviors. According to the case of Equinor Company, I think the ethical dilemmas faced by Equinor need to be solved with directing leadership style. The oil activities of Equinor have not only had a huge impact on environment, but also contributed to the increasingly serious global economic crisis. In the face of a series of ethical dilemmas, according to the development level of followers, Equinor employees have low competence, high commitment. At present, the employees of Equinor are lack of ability, don't know exactly how to do it, but they are highly motivated to achieve goals. They are excited about the challenges of new goals set by the leaders and take a serious attitude, even if they cannot achieve sometimes. So they try to solve the environmental problems faced by Equinor as best as they can. The leaders believe that they should maintain a positive attitude towards the establishment of oil fund, which can be used as a tool to provide wealth to citizens of the country, and ensure compliance with ethical norms in order to generate long-term good returns. Secondly, build a brand of Norway as a big country of environmentally conscious energy nation. As a state-owned enterprise, the Equinor is responsible for the national economy and the national environment. Meanwhile, in order to maintain the government image as a proactive protector of the environment, the Equinor allows the Norwegian oil industry to carry out foreign operations and overseas investment in more than 30 other countries and regions. But for the international environment, it only transfers pollution to overseas markets. Moreover, the exploration of new energy is used to replace the dominant position of oil and natural gas in Equinor's income. Although we believe that except for the exploration of new energy, other methods have a little effect. The last part is the leadership approach to making decisions while addressing issues. Leaders show the directing leadership style obviously when solving the problems between environment and economic balance. For instance, Equinor was opposite by 70% of the population in northern Norway, including some senior executives in LVS case. The LVS case is Lofton, Vestella, and Sand should be shielded from exploration. However, the Ender Opta still insists on exploration and sends direct orders to the exploration implementers, conducting close supervision simultaneous. Because Equinor is a state-owned company, as a chief executive officer, Anders Abdul, his plan should take the national interest as the core, which means that when the plan appears, employees are do more things under the instructions. So the supportive behavior is lower, following directing style with high directive and low supportive. That's the end of my part. The next one is Yihui Zhang.
Hello, my name is Yihui Zhang. I am talking about the conclusions and recommendations. Over the past few years ago, as Norway's rich natural resources, oil reserves are huge, and the oil industry has always been the backbone of Norway's economy. In addition, the petroleum industry is integral to Norway's economic growth. Nevertheless, there is growing public concern about the oil industry's contribution to climate change. After that, the Norwegian oil company faces a vital decision between generating revenue for the development of the country and the well-being of its humans. The other is to cope with tension between profits and carbon dioxide emissions. Norway is reluctant to end the oil and gas exploration, since the oil industry provides its economic base. Therefore, Norwegian oil company's priority is to balance the development of oil and gas with the highest level of national interest, and to develop new technologies to diminish carbon dioxide emissions while protecting the environment. Referring to the leadership styles, high directive and low supportive, which means that in addition to setting a good example, leaders should also maintain a positive and friendly cooperative relationship with employees, listen to reasonable opinions of employees, and take humanistic management measures to tackle the practical problems. In terms of how can oil companies resolve the conflict between profits and carbon dioxide emissions, leaders and managers have an obligation to take responsibility for the trade-offs as well as to prioritize the environmental impact on future sustainability. Environmental protection behavior depends greatly on the participation and the leadership of senior managers, who play a crucial role in the implementation of their operational decisions and practices. Top managers who engage in certain leadership styles would affect the organization's value, culture, and beliefs, which has a great impact on the functional level. Anders Opedal as CEO, he needed to lay emphasis on the importance of energy conservation to their followers and take actions to implement the concept of environmental protection, which will motivate employees to actively participate in low carbon and environmentally friendly processes. Therefore, top managers may strengthen environmental awareness, and creating a good image is relatively significant for followers. As the CEO of Ender Orbital, he should attach great importance to the quality and safety management of oil sales process, which means that he should not only ensure the security of products and personnel, but also strictly supervise the sales process. If they encounter substandard oil products, feel free to contact the head of each department.
Otherwise, poor oil will also cause environmental pollution. In the long run, leaders will advocate the development and utilization of green renewable energy in daily management activities, so as to provide more green new energy market. Meanwhile, leaders can pay close attention to relevant environmental policies and regulations. It is necessary to establish an effective environmental knowledge sharing system with internal managers. Leaders may appropriately adjust strategies for sustainable energy development. Furthermore, the following suggestions are given for facing similar moral dilemmas. First of all, a portion of Equinor profits goes to environmental remediation. Secondly, research and development for mining, purification, and other procedures to achieve higher utilization. Finally, as a leader who would consider not only the economic interests of the country, but also the environmental issues of the whole world. This is the end of my part. This is our group presentation. Thanks for watching.